Hi guys, my name's Nia Rossi and this is my first ever YouTube video. I've been wanting to make one for a really long time, but I've never been allowed to and I didn't really know what to post. But recently I've been into reading a lot, specifically romance books, so I thought it would be really nice to make recommendations and reviews and other romance book related content. So I just realized I forgot to mention what this video is actually about, but basically it's a book recap of 2021 and then my top 3 favorite books I read last year at the end of the video. So sorry about that, but yeah. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a quick rating on the books I read last year. So all my ratings are out of 10, 0 meaning awful, horrible, never ever recommend, 10 meaning amazing, really enjoyed it. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I'm starting off with this one because it's a really cute, cheesy kind of romance. It's enemies to lovers, which is my favorite trope. I learned to love the characters, which I really liked, and it's an easy read. So I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. I'm kind of going to talk about the other books and base them off of this book or relate them to that. So the next one is 99% Mine by Sally Thorne. I gave this book a 7 out of 10 because I got bored of it really fast. I don't think I was in a good mood when I read it because I read another one of her books, The Hating Game, which is on one of my top 3 list. That book was amazing, but this book, I just didn't really love it, so I gave that 7 out of 10. The trope was friends to lovers, which I do enjoy, but in this case, it was okay. Next we have Beach Read by Emily Henry, which I gave a 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, I can't decide. It's less lighthearted and made me cry. It was a little bit sad. It was enemies to lovers-ish. I don't know how to explain that without spoiling anything. I'd say it's a bit of romance and young adult. It's kind of a mix, but it was still a really good book. Next, Colleen Hoover. You're gonna hear a lot of her books in this list, but this one is a TikTok fan favorite. It Ends With Us. I give it a 10 out of 10. Just have some triggers, specifically on like abusive relationships. I'm already spoiling too much. I don't want to continue with explaining that. There are multiple love interests. This journey is all the characters. It's heartbreaking. You feel the pain. There's all, I have more things I want to say. I really don't want to spoil the book. So I'm just going to say definitely read it. I definitely recommend it. The next one is also by Colleen Hoover. It's titled All Your Perfects. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I cried a lot. It's about marriage, which I normally don't like, but in this case it's actually quite good. It wasn't my favorite trope, which is why I'm giving it a lower rating, and it's not like one of my top 10 books, but it was still pretty good. It's nice to have like a different trope, because I've never read a trope like marriage type, really. I kind of stay away from those. And I like the ending. Don't want to spoil it. Okay, next is Verity or Versity by Colleen Hoover. I gave it a 7 out of 10 because it was spooky, it was scary. The romance was there, but that ruined it for me because I was scared. I was reading it late at night. I was hearing all types of noises. I don't like that kind of stuff. So if you are okay with scary things, I'd recommend it. If not, then no, don't read it. Next is November 9th by Colleen Hoover again. I gave it a 9 out of 10. It's super cute. The story was really interesting. It made me cry a lot, and it's hard not to spoil, but it's kind of an easy read-ish. It was still really good. I loved it. The next one is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne, and I'm going to talk about that one later in my top 3, but I gave it a 10 out of 10. Next is Until Friday Night by Abby Glines. I gave it a 10 out of 10. It was cute, but it made me cry a lot. It was really heartbreaking. So I might replace that word cute with sad, yet a lot of good romance. There was strong, oh my gosh, there was strong character development, which I really enjoyed. The writing was pretty good, so 10 out of 10. Next is The Ex-Hex by Aaron Sterling. I'm not finished with this book, but I give it a 1,000 out of 10. The writing itself, 8 out of 10, but the fact that it's a magic plus romance book, I love magic, I love romance, and I just love this book. I don't even want to finish it yet because I don't want to be done with it. The writing can be a little bit cheesy. It's lighthearted, kind of like The Unhoneymooners that I talked about before. It's lovers to strangers, then I don't know, I don't want to spoil it, and I'm also not done, so, and I just love, oh my gosh, I just love that magic feeling. So next is Newcomers by Mary Kay Andrews. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I'm not done reading it. It is like a murder mystery a little bit, but heavy on the romance. It's on the longer side. It's fun to read. Yeah. Next is Maybe Someday, which I'm going to talk about later because it is in my top 3. And then I have Hopeless, which I gave a 10 out of 10 by Colleen Hoover. It made me cry a lot. Heavy on character development, which of course I love. It's cute yet difficult. I don't know how to explain that. It's really sad. It's not lighthearted at all. The relationships some characters build are just amazing, and I really enjoyed kind of reading them. There is a lot of sexual abuse and there's violence, so that can be a big trigger for people. Then there's the sequel to that called Losing Hope. I gave that an 8 out of 10. It's a different point of view. It was okay. I didn't really like that it was just different point of views. I'm not into that as much. Feels like I've already read the book, but I decided to finish it and it wasn't that bad. The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han is number 1 in my top 3 because it was the first book that got me into romance reading and romance books. It's childhood friends to lovers, which I loved that trope in this book. It was just amazing. There was a love triangle, kind of. It's just full of love and cute scenes and romance, but it has those sad bits that made me cry, made me emotional. It was a great balance in my opinion. It was just perfect. Like, it's honestly one of my favorite books. And I think I'm a bit biased because it's my first romance book, but it was just great. I have the other 2 in the series, which I already forgot the name. It's Not Summer Without You and then We'll Always Have Summer. I give the first 2 a 10 out of 10 and the last one 8 out of 10 because I didn't want it to be over. That's pretty much it. Otherwise, I'd have a 10 out of 10. Next is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. Is Enemies to Lovers. Again, one of my favorite tropes. It's an easy read, super duper cute. It does get pretty steamy, and it ended up being a little too much for me, but I was able to just kind of skip the pages. I almost didn't put it in my top 3 because I read an awful review, like a huge review about people who read this book and how they're not like good people or something. It made me really sad, so I didn't like that. And then the idea of a movie being made and the trailer, I saw a bit of the trailer and I just didn't like it. I don't know why. I'm a little too quick to judge, so I'm gonna watch the movie and share my thoughts. I don't know why I judged it so fast, but the book itself is amazing. Next is Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover, which is also a series. Strong on character development, which I love. Made me cry a lot. The relationships were so special and intimate. It's truly amazing. It felt as if I were in the book, like experiencing everything firsthand, which sometimes it's hard for me to feel that way when I read books. And it made me cry a lot, like so much. But it was just so great. Like, I would non-stop talk about this book and it was hard to put it down. It is a series. The second book was short. It was about different characters in the book, which I kind of enjoyed. It was okay, but the first book was definitely 10 out of 10. The second book an 8 out of 10, and then the last one, I had read all of these books in 5 days, all 3 of them, and I was really tired. So by the time I got to the last one, I was like, ugh, I can't do this anymore. So I gave it like a 7 out of 10. I'm sure it's probably a 9 or 10 because I still enjoyed it. So, yeah. And then my honorable mention goes to The Unhoneymooners because it was super cute. Like I talked about, it was the first book I mentioned, and the romance was really good, although some parts were a bit slow. So yeah, now I'm going to talk about Colleen Hoover, an author you saw quite a couple times. I've read a lot of her books, and she's just an amazing author. I don't know how to describe it, but her writing is absolutely perfect. Her books are less lighthearted and more realistic, which sometimes I like, sometimes I don't. They're impactful. A lot of her books talk about heavy subjects and controversial topics, which I actually really enjoy. All of her books make me cry. So, amazing writing. I've never not cried while reading one of her books. So let me just say that. That's it for my 2021 book recap. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I was a bit nervous while making it, so I might have said a couple things wrong. If there's any books that you think I should read, let me know. And if there's any books that you want me to give summaries on, or you want me to recommend, or a different genre you want me to try, I'm all for it. Thank you so much. I really hope you enjoyed. Have a great day or night.